Alright, ladies and germs, it's your boy Trevor here, coming back at you with another update video. Sorry. And looks like a lot of y'all have been asking a bunch of questions on my last post. Sorry. I'm kind of everywhere right now, just listening to my hogs choke something terrible, so a little not happy about that, but I'll try to get through this without sounding too pissed off. But let's go ahead and just jump right into the questions here. Alright, first question here. Actually, it's a couple of questions, but one person here asked a handful. So first person here, from D-Town Seaboy, he's asking, how often do I shower? Usually try to do it every day, if not every other day. I'm actually probably about to go hop in the shower as soon as I get this posted. But I try to get it done every day. With Pilot right now, with Conway we use a lot of Pilot and Flying J. With Pilot and Flying J's right now, they're running the shower power. So if you fuel like 500 gallons, you get a free shower like per day. I swear to God, I have like 45 showers from Pilot and Flying J. So I've been using them. But to answer your question, I usually try to shower every day, if not every other day. But then again, there's also been times where I've literally gone like a week or more without a shower, which, yeah, I kind of get a little grimy then. It's not pretty. He also asked, what do I do? Well, I just kind of summed it up. For like my downtime after sitting for that long. Do I like take a walk and stuff? Yeah, I do. I usually walk around a lot. I use this app called Trucker Path. I highly suggest that to anybody out there. It is helpful in some cases. A lot of the reviews that you'll see are a bunch of the truckers just bitching because they can't drive, or they live up to like these expectations, like they want them to be sitting up here, they want all the home amenities and all that shit. It's a truck stop, what do you expect? So you can't always go with what the app says, but what it'll usually tell you is like how much parking's left, and I usually try to give an accurate, that's what I'll usually do, is I'll usually like walk the lot depending on how big it is. Like if it's a massive, like I wouldn't walk around the freaking I-80 truck stop. There's no way in hell, because that's a, you know, if any of y'all that have been up there, that's a massive fucking truck stop. I ain't walking all the way through there. But if it's a smaller or, you know, larger lot but not nearly that size, I'll usually like walk along the lot and count and see how many parking spots are available, how easy they look to get into, and what have you, and usually post up there just to kind of stretch my legs out, get the blood flow going back in them, and what have you. Let's see. He wants to also know about my my CRST experience. Am I getting more here, more there, or more? Yeah, more here with Conway, or more at CRST. Well, I gotta give respect where respect is due. I got all my training and learned a lot of things from CRST, but during, like, if y'all follow me for a while, y'all know that I was rolling solo for like 3 weeks. I learned a lot of shit in those 3 weeks that I probably wouldn't have been able to learn with running teams. There are benefits to running teams and rolling solo and what have you. Trying to get off on a little tangent here, but there are days where I really wish that I had a second set of eyes to get me into some spots. But as long as you take it slow and know what you're doing, it's really not that bad. I mean, goal, get out and look. That's what they pound into your head here, at least at Conway, and they should be pounding it into your head everywhere else you go. But I mean, it wasn't that bad. And oh yeah, he also asked if they kept me running at CRST. Usually, yeah. I was usually running, well, let me rephrase that. Like I said, for those of y'all that have followed me, know that I actually quit CRST the first time I went through there about 4 months into my contract, because me and my dispatcher just never saw eye to eye, and he would give us all these little bullshit loads, like 300 miles here, 300 miles there. I mean, just little BS loads that weren't really adding up and making a good paycheck. But then I got in with my second dispatcher, and like I said, I loved him. He ran the dog piss out of us, and I loved him for it. I mean, he would give us a few little BS loads here and there, like, you know, run a 600-mile load or something, which, you know, sounds pretty good, and it is pretty good. But I'm used to having, you know, over 1,000. To me, if it's not over 1,000 miles, it's not really a super big load. But like, he would run us, like, you know, a 500, 600-mile load that wasn't really much, but then he would turn around and give us, you know, a load going from, say, New York, Rhode Island, you know, up there in the New England area, or what have you, or North Carolina. He'd run us over to the other coast, you know, like Seattle, freaking Oregon, California, what have you. He'd give us one of those huge loads, you know, shortly after that. So, but to answer your question, yeah, they kept me running there usually fairly often. It all really depends on where you're at, like I've said many a time before. Especially with CRST, if you're in like California, Seattle, or Washington State in general, like anywhere along the West Coast, if you're in that area for more than 6 hours, I'm just throwing a number out, but like 6 hours, I would be calling your dispatcher and telling them to get you the hell out of there, because I think the longest time I sat at all on the West Coast was 6 hours. And I mean, freight's going in and out of there on the West Coast all the damn time, so you'll get something out of there. New England area, it's a little bit more difficult. You may sit there for a day, maybe two. It all just depends on, you know, what season it is or what have you. You go down, you know, Midwest, the Southeast, and all that is usually pretty good, with the exception of Florida. Florida, really easy to get into, a bitch and a half to get out of. I sat for almost a week in Miami, which was nice, don't get me wrong, but until a freaking load was available. I mean, it was bad. It was really bad. I love going to Florida. It's not really that bad, but golly, it's a bitch and a half to get out of there. At least whenever I was with CRST. With Conway, I've done a few loads to Florida, and it's not been terrible. I've usually been planned on loads immediately leaving out of there, which isn't bad. Places like Texas, it all just, like I said, once again, it all just depends on the season. Like I said, around Christmas time, you're never sitting. Especially with CRST, you're never sitting around Christmas time. Between 1st of November to, I'd say, mid-January, you're running nonstop. I mean, you're constantly running. All right, on to the next question. Do I pay for my gas? No. Company pays for it all, which is kind of nice, because they also, in a sense, pay for my internet as well. I just use the truck stop Wi-Fi. That's spotty in most areas, but when it's free, you can't really complain too much. The way I do it, they pay for the gas, I use the points for the internet, so in a sense they kind of pay for the internet, but I don't pay for gas, pretty much. Next question here. Have I ever driven in, what's the word I'm looking for here? Inclement weather conditions. Oh yeah, I've driven in everything you can think of, from rain, to snow, to sleet, to ice, to fog, even dust storms. I mean, and salt storms even in Utah. I've driven about everything you can think of. I would definitely, I mean, of course, recommend sun over everything else, because, you know, But there are days where I kind of wish it would rain, because some days I just need my damn truck washed for free from Mother Nature. But out of all of them, ice, of course, person's worst nightmare. It's terrible. Probably followed quickly by snow, and then actually in my thing, honestly, after that it was probably be dust. The dust storms and salt storms or what have you. Those ain't no joke. I thought I kind of took advantage of them, but I got caught up in one in I got caught in a dust storm up in Tucson, Arizona, and that ain't no joke, man. You literally can't see shit. And high recommendation, if you are going to be driving through a dust storm at all, turn off your AC, roll your windows up, and just make sure everything's sealed up. I mean, you'll probably still get a little bit of dirt coming in, but it won't be nearly as bad like if you have your AC on and your window down. Duh. And then rain. Rain doesn't really bother me that bad. I drive through it all the time. I used to. I mean, I used to be a freaking wannabe storm chaser, so heavy rains don't bother me that much. I'll usually cruise right through them, depending on how heavy I am or how light I am. Sometimes, I mean, I usually always slow down for inclement weather conditions, but rain doesn't bother me. Fog doesn't really bother me that bad, depending on how thick it is. It just, and where I'm at, and that's pretty much, like if I'm in Kansas, I'm still a little weary, but I'm still cruising 60 plus miles an hour. I'm still wary just because, deer are fucking everywhere. But places like, if it was foggy in places like St. Louis, Chicago, those heavy traffic cities, yeah, I'll be slowing it way down, mostly because everybody else does it as well. But I believe that answers all of D-Town's questions that he had for me. Next person up here, we have Richard Da Silva, and he just asked, why is there no storage under the bunk? There is actually storage under the bunk. You just have to lift the bed up to get to it. I mean, if y'all saw my video with my last video, actually, I guess y'all saw that I showed that I have my my clothes basket, my dirty clothes basket, just kind of sitting out in the open because I can't just slide it under the bed like I did with my 660. But I just don't feel like lifting the bed up right now because, for one, I got my PlayStation 4 and my TV sitting on the edge of the bed, and that shit ain't exactly light, and I don't want to break it or, cause some kind of catastrophic failure of some sort. So I just leave it sitting out there. But there is storage under the bed, to answer your question. There is storage under the bed. There's 3 storage pockets. It goes, passenger, driver's side storage, the storage under the main storage under the bed, I guess you could say, and then the passenger side storage. So there is storage under there. I just don't utilize it like I probably should. Let's see. But that answers Richard's question. Next person up here, we have Joe San Filipino. Sorry if I butchered your name there. Yes, why does CRST still run old Qualcomms? I have no idea. Actually, I mean, they're honestly a little bit more advanced than Conway is, honestly. Because, I mean, if you see up there, I'm still running the gigantic freaking brick, is what I usually call it. And some of the CRSTs, one of the trucks that I had was, the Qualcomm was literally about that big. It had a little pop-out keypad, and, it was pretty nice. But I actually prefer the brick, oddly enough, just because it's got that big-ass keyboard on it, and I'm a pretty good typer, so I can usually type pretty fast on it. It's just slower than molasses in January, so it's whatever. But I have no idea exactly why CRST runs old Qualcomms. Like I said, in my opinion, I think they're a little bit more advanced than Conway is, but I don't complain too much, so it works. It does what it's supposed to. Whatever. But next person up here, we have Kyle Brown. Oh, I actually answered his question earlier. He asked, did CRST keep me busy? Yes, they did. And what the pay was like. Do they really start you out at 25 cents a mile or 12 cents a mile, what have you? Yes, they do. They start out at 25 cents per mile, split miles, which don't think of it as a bad thing. I mean, is that bottom? Yeah, that's kind of bottom. Because, I mean, like I said, I've got almost 2 years under my belt now, and with Conway, I'm getting paid 38 cents per mile, all miles. Plus Northeast pay, which my last check was quite lovely because I was running all up in the Northeast. And I also get, they're doing a thing now, they started in August, where you get short mileage pay. Pretty much what that means for like any load under 400 miles. Under 400 miles, you get an additional penny per mile, I believe, and like if it's within some spectrum, you get like an additional 2 and 3 cents per mile. Yeah. But with CRST, yes, as far as I can remember, I don't know if they changed their pay scales anytime within the last year or so. But as far as I can remember, yeah, they start you out at 25 cents per mile. Which, yeah, I know is kind of shitty. But what else can you do? You can't, but after 2 months you go up, I think it's 2 months, 2 or 3 months, you go up to, I think, 26 cents per mile or 27, and then you get a big bump up to 32 cents per mile after a year, I believe, something like that, 6 months maybe. I think it's 3 months you go up a penny per mile, and then 6 months you go up to 32 cents per mile or something like that. Don't quote me on it. I don't remember their pay scale off the top of my head. But, yeah. I believe that answers your question there. And then Kathleen Necessary asks for the top 10 must-haves as a rookie, pretty much. Oh, yeah. Also, congratulations to you, Kathleen, for joining the Conway crew here. Hope to see you down the road. But top 10 things, I'm just going to kind of go off the top of my head, because I put a little bit of thought into it, but a lot of them require money, and somebody who, like me, who was coming in with nothing, yeah, it makes it a little bit tough. But top 10 things, Atlas, number 1, Atlas. Use said Atlas. If you don't have the money to buy a GPS, and honestly, don't bring like your TomTom. Garmin is okay; it's a little spotty, but don't bring like a TomTom or something like that, because it's gonna fuck you pretty much. I mean, I hate to drop F-bombs and stuff, but y'all have known me long enough. Y'all know I don't really care, and candid as they come. But don't bring like a TomTom. If you're gonna buy any GPS, I recommend the Rand McAnally. It's boned me a couple times, mainly because I need to get it updated. But that's probably top of the line, one of the better ones you can get. But like I said, once you get money under your belt, of course, try to get you a good GPS like a Rand McAnally. But number 1, Atlas. Use said Atlas. And plan your trip accordingly, please. Just make sure you know where the hell you're going. Number 2, God, I don't even know. But I mean, Atlas mostly. Number 2 thing you might want is some work gloves. They're relatively cheap. I bought mine for like $5 at a truck stop. Hell, you can get that after a couple fill-ups, especially, like I said, if you're running with Conway. You can get those after a couple fill-ups with your points. Especially this month, because they're running double points at Pilot and Flying J's, so it should be pretty quick. But you can buy, I got a set of work gloves for like $5. That's what I use whenever I'm fueling, whenever I'm unhooking from a trailer, or what have you. Work gloves, good thing, good investment. Well, it wouldn't really apply to you, but it does apply to a few others out there. XM radio. Reason it doesn't really apply to you, Kathleen, is because all of CRST's trucks come with XM radio, and I think a lot of other companies are starting to put XM radios in their trucks too, because it technically is a lifesaver. It makes that long, boring road a little bit less boring. But XM radio, yeah, that's going to cost money, but it's a good necessity. Like I said, I don't really know exactly necessities. I mean, I know your everyday stuff. I mean, like a shower bag, things like that. But also, I guess this could be a necessity. Trash bags. Have some trash bags. Don't just be flinging your shit everywhere or have your truck look like a pigsty, because, I mean, it's just unprofessional. And if DOT sees a shitload of stuff on your dash, they're gonna yank you. Whenever I was working with CRST, I had a lot of shit on my dash at one point in time, just because I was backed up. I guess you could say I was backed up on paperwork and stuff like that, and we were running like hell, and they yanked me once. And I mean, I passed clearly. I did fine with everything that they wanted me to do, but if you got a lot of shit on your dash, they're gonna yank you. I mean, if they see that, they're gonna expect you to be unorganized and unprofessional and what have you. So just make sure you keep your truck clean, pretty much. Get some trash bags. Don't be just flinging your stuff everywhere and throwing it out at the truck stops, because that's just nasty. But you know, your everyday stuff. I mean, things like for me, other unconventional things, I guess you could say, is like laundry soap, and I use dryer sheets as well. I use the Tide Pods. You can get I have a vat of them that's got like 300 in them. I bought it for like $60 at Walmart. So things like that. Other necessities, like I said, a pillow. I mean, just, I don't really know exactly 100% what you're asking, but I guess things for the road. Number one thing is an atlas, or a good GPS. Not, like I said, not like a TomTom. In some cases, I wouldn't even recommend a Garmin if you're going through like Dallas or Chicago or what have you. Don't use a Garmin GPS. Use something like a Rand McAnally, and hell, even then it can still mess you up. Even Rand McAnally, because Chicago's notorious for low bridges, and I don't want to see any of y'all out there being stuck under a bridge, because there's no sense in it really, unless it's unmarked, in which case just take it slow. Just be really careful with it. But I believe that answers all the questions that I have from y'all. Like I said, I know what you're asking, but I just don't know exactly what you're asking, if that makes sense. Just because it's a little bit difficult to know really what to bring. I mean, like I said, Atlas, grab one of the fuel guides or what have you that Conway uses, unless your company has one, or if your company doesn't have one, get one of the truck stop guides. That came in handy with me whenever I didn't have my GPS. Use that as well to help pre-plan your route, and yeah. Other than that, that's pretty much, try to think, pretty much all I can really think about or think up off the top of my head. But I guess that's about all I got for y'all now. I just wanted to do the little Q&A here for y'all. I'm sitting here just outside, about an hour and a half outside of Dallas, or Fort Worth, really, DFW, whatever you want to call it. Sitting here, getting my reset, about to go take me a shower, getting a bite to eat, and I'm going to hit the sack and get to El Paso. Actually, I ain't got to be there till Monday, so I may sit about just outside of El Paso and cruise there Monday morning. But yeah, that's all I got for y'all. As always, if y'all like the video, give it a thumbs up, dislike it, you know, give it a thumbs down, constructive criticism, what have you. I'm gonna go ahead and say this: if you do give it a thumbs down, would it kill you to give a reason why it's thumbs down? I just want some constructive criticism, y'all. Just so I can try to make them a little bit better. I know the quality probably isn't top notch, and that's mostly because I don't have the money or a laptop or what have you to do something like a GoPro or what have you. I just do them off my little freaking HTC One phone here. But yeah. Oh yeah. If y'all like my face, my insight, what have you, my candidness, yeah, go ahead and subscribe. It only takes a second, and I greatly appreciate it. I'm almost up to 500 now. Damn, that's a huge jump from a year ago. And I appreciate every single one of y'all out there. And I take everything y'all say or want to ask, I take it to heart and try to answer it as best of my ability, as y'all have seen. If y'all got any other questions, comments, what have you, of course, leave them in the comment section down below, and I'll answer questions, concerns, what have you, as quickly as I can get to them. But I believe that's about all I got for y'all today, y'all. I'm gonna go get me a shower and bite to eat, and I will holler at y'all dudes later. As always, it's your boy Trevor, signing out. Peace, y'all. Take it easy.